All right, bye, Lena. So we've upgraded the Spirit tier to a 10, the Mimic tier, Spirit tuning. We've gotten a couple big weapons from the gods, but we're going to need some stuff to upgrade them. We've gotten some higher upgrade bits to move this thing up to like 7 and 8, the Bloodhound gang, but we need a 6, and we need another 6 so we can upgrade that axe. We can get them up. But so far, this game's really been just endlessly entertaining, and I don't play it every day, and I think that goes a long way to keeping it fresh. We found the Lake of Rot. We mostly just did this area. That's all we did. I don't even think we really fought a big boss. We fought some interesting enemies. This bit here was really nice. Noxtella. We fought some interesting bugs. It just wasn't frustrating. Wasn't tedious. It's really the easiest From Software game, but I just think it works for how long it is and how big it is and how it's more of an emphasis on like fun stuff you can explore. And it's just all the great stuff that From Software games do in terms of atmosphere, exploration. It's really confusing that you can't just press the map button to get out of the map. You're constantly seeing new areas and new enemy designs and new quirky little challenges, but you're kind of expecting, like Corky was saying about the Lake of Rot, you're expecting when you come into an area, you're trained by the From Software experience to expect it to be worse, and then when it's not as bad as you think, it's nice. And then the area's over kind of before you know it. So I just really find it fascinating. I played for about 2.5 hours today and really could have played a lot more. But a windstorm came and blew our tent, so I need to go fix that. But I feel like I reached a good spot. The next thing I really want to do is upgrade this weapon a bit more, because I feel like the enemies here are taking a couple more hits than usual, which is fine. I didn't mind it with those like slow-moving rock guys. I think it kind of fit their lore. They have so much armor from being covered in a hardened substance and from being underground that that part of the gameplay of having to hit them so many times worked. And they were also incredibly slow, so it felt very fair. And now we're fighting more interesting enemies down here that are shooting that magic spell. Those like the spell of 1,000 knives. So this game's still really, really, really holding up for me. And I mean, I would say obviously going to be game of the year. The quality, oh, so much quality. Oh, terrible. We have to go back to the frame rate. I need the frame rate. I actually came here, I just wanted to see how long we've been playing. 53 hours. There are not very many games I've played for 53 hours and continually feel like I'm getting something new out of it. I mean, I've played strategy games for many more hours than that, hundreds of hours, but you know, it's the same kind of scenario over, and you have different moments of that are going to give you different iterations that are going to provide something new. But this is like really constantly seeing something new at all times. Just constantly seeing new areas, lots of green, lots of blue, now lots of red. And those areas, the way that they are set up to be where the creatures down there seem like they would actually live there and they're doing something. They're not just standing around waiting for you to run up and punch them. Like we got this kind of glorious spot that was protected by the Lake of Rot, and it looks like some kind of temple. I mean, it just stretches up far beyond, but it's obscured by this rot fog. And these creatures seem to be praying or doing something, and it looks like a place where people would pray and do something. It's amazing. And like the way the rot waterfall kind of leads into here, like it gives it its power or something. It's incredible. They just took all that great ambiance and world building just through the visuals, and then also the lore stuff if you want to dive into that. And the only thing you're losing is that you don't have the insane ecstasy of defeating a boss that you tried to beat 35 times. Which you could have done in a way because you could have had people kind of beat their head against a boss in one area and then give up and go to another one. But then you might have ended up where the player feels like, well, everywhere I go, there's a boss I can't beat, like Demon Souls. And then you're not having enough repetition to learn to deal with them. But I just love it. I was definitely ready for From Software to ease up on the player. And I guess if you really wanted to, you can still solo things, right? You could not summon anyone. You could have your character be naked and wear a jar on your head the way the Let Me Solo Her summon online player is doing to help people fight that final boss. I believe it's a final boss. I don't know. I don't really recognize the name or who it is, but they're fighting someone who's very difficult. You don't need to use the Mimic Tier. You could do it your own way. There's so many ways to play. The way Prince uses his rot and magic. Horky using bows. Horky respecking all the time. It's been amazing. I really love this weapon that I have. It's a nice balance of staggering. It's not too slow. It's got a great range. I just really love it. This is easily one of the best games I've played in many, many years. Probably one of my... it's up there battling Sekiro for the most fun I've had playing a From Software game. Probably more fun than any From Software game. In terms of just consistent, quality fun, very little frustration or tedium. And it is an easy mode. It's easier, so you're lacking that different kind of satisfaction. And games are always going to be, what are you into? If you want that insane difficulty, I guess I don't even know if it's here, even if you don't use the summons in the Mimic Tier. Maybe you still can't get that. But just in the same way, the Breath of the Wild is for the people that like the world of Zelda more than they like 4-hour dungeons and temples. This is the same thing. Do you like the world and the ambiance of From Software games? Or do you like the crazy killer bosses? Because they just didn't... And the insane difficulty, where it's really testing you. This lets its foot off the gas a bit and fleshes it and just has you kind of slow down and take in the scenery and stop and smell the roses and not worry about the roses turning into poisonous monsters that seem impossible to get past. So I'm having a lot of fun. 50-something hours in. I'm looking forward to hour number 60. Crazy. Thanks, everybody who's been watching this. I'll be back with more Elden Ring. Goodbye.